Now the following day, I try opening my locker in the hospital to get my handbag and maybe pick something. That is when I looked at something that was in a plate there. Something very big. It looks like a liver. And my heart stopped. I did not need anyone to tell me what it was. It was my uterus. Oh my God. I took it. I took it and I held that plate like this. And then I asked God, you created me. You took my ovary because you had the power to stop that from happening. Yani, why did it even to be in bits? This time I go, I lose my ovary, my fallopian tube, and now it is my uterus. I am holding my own organ, the organ that would define me, my whole generation, my everything. I'm holding it like this. I could not even understand because I had the word cervix. Now I'm trying to see which one is the cervix. So a uterus looks like this. Oh my God.
Love that you show me. Yes, that I cannot take it for granted. Love that you show me, I cannot deny.
What's up, everybody? This is Director Samaritan 254, and before we start, make sure that you subscribe. That is to Easterntv official channel, and also Easterntv, which is our other English channel, Easterntv English. This interview will be uploaded in both the channels. Go there, subscribe to Easterntv English. The link of the channel is pinned on this video on the comment section. Just go there and subscribe. Now, on our midst, we have a lady by the name Irene Wambua. Maybe you've seen her in other YouTube channels. You're asking yourself, what is she doing in Easterntv? Now, she told us that she has a story of her life. Maybe you've heard it in other YouTube channels, but she will be explaining to us of why she's here in Easterntv. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Samaritan.
To those people who don't know you, maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us your official names.
My name is Irene Wambua, and I come from Kitui. Many people have seen me so far in various YouTube channels, and I'm saved. That is the first introduction that I do, and I love the Lord, and I'm here to encourage someone as well as talk my mind, because I realized it's healing me when I talk. Yeah.
There are people who've seen you in other YouTube channels, and they maybe there's a person who contributed to you. Maybe a person who sent you like 1,000, others 20,000, or even 5,000, or a certain amount of money, and they're asking themselves, why is this lady here in Easterntv again and again and again? Is she looking for more money? What can you tell that kind of a person, maybe?
First of all, right now, I feel like a very isolated person, because I'm doing everything on my own. If I had support system, maybe I would not be here. But I realized the devil has a way of making someone die because of something that you would have spoken and maybe get help. The reason I'm here is because before, when I was in those other channels, I had told everyone that I had 3 previous surgeries. But right now, I'm here to at least thank everyone who came through for me, and also inform you that I had another surgery, a cystectomy surgery. And because I'm like alone, maybe in quotes, I am so alone. I've been doing everything on my own. So I've been trying on my own in whichever way I can to cater for this treatment. It drains me so much. The infertility journey that I've walked through so far, if I don't get help, I don't think that I can make it on my own.
Okay, now
Yeah.
I want to cut you short. I want you to start your story officially, so that the people may know where your story all started from. We want to understand more about your story, and at least know if there is a person maybe who has some help. Maybe he or she can offer you the help, and at least we just want to know more about your story, where it all started from. Just hold the mic and take us through your journey.
All right, first of all, let me thank everyone who had seen my story before, and a lot of people came through. Some prayed for me, others called and sent whatever they could, right from Presenter Ali. I also thank him. I thank everyone who has hosted me before, and I'm here to tell you something else. I did the other surgery, and here I am. You might call me a beggar or anything, but I'm here. As I encourage someone somewhere, I also want help. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So if you don't talk when you have I realized I have been silent for too long. And maybe if I spoke earlier, I would not be here. So my story began about 13 years ago. I was married for around 10 years, but during that journey, I discovered I was not conceiving. So 3 years after marriage, that is when I went for the first diagnosis. I know many people know my story so far. So the first diagnosis, I was diagnosed with fibroids and blocked fallopian tubes. But the fibroid was very small, so the doctors told me there is no need for a surgery to remove that fibroid. The main problem was the tubes. They were blocked with a kind of liquid, bilateral hydrosulfins. So now, at this stage, there could be no surgery because, sorry, if you do a surgery to unblock your tubes, please don't. They might block permanently, and it's irreversible. So my only option at this time was to look for herbal medicine. This time I'm still married to my husband. He was supporting me. I tried for around 1 year taking the herbs. Fortunately, the fibroid disappeared, but the tubes, a part of my left tube started opening, but my right was still blocked. So I went back to my gynecologist, who told me now, since the left tube has started opening, there could be a chance of conceiving. So I tried. I was very happy. I went and told my husband. So at this time, now I had hope, like a woman, I was going to conceive, but it did not happen. I went for another scan called FSH to see how big are my ovaries or ovules, the eggs, for fertilization. So it was discovered that my eggs were very small. The biggest was about 6 millimeter. And for you to be pregnant, you have to have at least 18 millimeter an ovule to pick up fertilization. I have learned all these things because of my experience. So now I was put on a drug called Clomid. I took the Clomid drug for 3 months. I was still not able to get pregnant. So I was given a higher dosage called letrozole. Letrozole worked. In fact, my biggest ovule, it went up to 16 millimeter. At this time, I was the happiest little girl in wherever I was staying. And even the doctor told me, wow, I can finally see pregnancy. I was very happy. It did not happen. After a month or two, now I started having pain. I go again to the hospital. This time, I was told I have ovarian cysts. You see, this is a new term. Yeah. It's like every time I went to the hospital, I came with a more devastating news. So this time, I'm told I have ovarian cyst. And I asked, what do we do about it? The doctor told me if it goes to 5 centimeter, we will have to remove because it's very dangerous and painful. So I went for a scan. I think the first scan, it was around 3 centimeter. I went back home. I would take painkillers. And at this time, my menstruation was bad. The pain, anyone who knows what I'm talking about, they know. So when I went, the scan showed that that ovarian cyst was now 6 centimeter, too big. And I was told I'll have to go to theater and they remove it. And then it was discovered during that ultrasound that I had already developed 4 fibroids. You see, they've come back in multiple. This is the thing. A lot of ladies have been calling me, telling me, can you tell me that Hubble drug that you used and your fibroid disappeared? This is the bad news. I know it might work or not. You can try your Hubble medicine. But anything that makes fibroid disappear, the fibroid will come back and in multiple. Whether it is a surgery that you've done and remove, if you remove in whichever way, they come back in multiple. So mine disappeared after I took herbal medicine, but it came back four of them. So I went to theater. It was my first surgery. I was with my husband. Everything was dull, but I had that strength of a woman. After theater, I came out. I was very happy. I thought I would die. You see, people have this fear of dying if you go to theater. And when I woke up, I found I had been performed 2 surgeries at a go. First, the doctor tried something called laparoscopy, and now the open cut. With laparoscopy, they try to detect if you have something called endometriosis. That is the only way you can test if you have endometriosis. And I was told mine was severe. Now, I hear a lot of women say if you have painful periods, you should go and give birth, and then that pain will disappear. It might be endometriosis. And if I knew it earlier, maybe it would have been controlled. But you see, mine was even in stage 3 because I had no knowledge. So for a woman who is having painful periods, don't ignore that pain. Periods should be normal and pain-free, not that too much pain, and normal flow. So I was told my endometriosis was severe, and it could be the cause of why I'm not conceiving. At this time, I'm not giving up. I'm asking the doctor, so what do I do? You see, I am not for no or they won't. No, I'm for yes, it will happen. Now, at this time, I was the most prayerful woman you could find anywhere you go, any church. I would go to church. I would pray even before eating. I was so obedient to God because now now at this time, you even want that child. You can even beg God to drop one for you, even if you miscarry. For me, this journey was very funny because after every experience, the next experience would be more difficult than the last. Now, this surgery, they removed the 4 fibroids, and the doctor told me he tried opening my left fallopian tube, and I was okay. I could now go and conceive. And I shared the good news with my husband. But you see, during this time, my husband, the African man, you all know, he had already gotten a baby with another lady, and even reported, he even took her to his matrimonial home and introduced her as the wife. Yet I don't know, and I'm still in this marriage. Now, when that happened, you can imagine you are trying to conceive, and then something like that comes in and steals the only thing that you love so much, and you even struggle so that this person can feel the love from you, but it's not happening. I would ask, but why? Why is it being difficult? So I tried conceiving again after the removal of the 4 fibroids and the cyst on the right side of my ovary. I did not conceive. Now, by this time, things had gone bad between me and my husband. So after 10 years of marriage, there was no option but to separate.
10 years?
Yes.
10 years of marriage?
Yes. So we separated with my husband. It was very painful for me. We did not know, but you see, women, let me just call it that strength of a woman. I would walk with it everywhere. So I separated with my husband, and by this time, now I started looking for a plan B. So I started looking for a job, and God was faithful. He gave me a job because after separation with my husband, you see, I had a very good life. I lived in a big house. I had everything. I had food. Now I'm on my own. I need medicine and I need to focus. So I took a break from trying to conceive and I started working. God was faithful. So come 2020, as I continue working, I discovered I had another pain developing. But I'm not worried because I know fibroids zilitolewa, I'm okay. So when the pain started again, I went for I know all before I even go to see the gynecologist, I just pass by a scan lab, I get the ultrasound done because I know that is exactly what will happen. So I went, had that ultrasound done, and it was discovered for that to happen, I had not gone for at ultrasound. So one morning, I woke up to go to work. But when I was inside the matatu, the pain was too much. And this time I was taking my painkillers, but nothing was happening. Many of you know my story so far. So after 10 minutes drive with that bus, in that bus, I collapsed. And a lady or two picked my handbags. They tried reaching out to my family using my phones. So to cut that part of story short, I woke up in the hospital. And when they did that scan after reviving me, I was told by the radiologist, Madam, you need to go and have your uterus removed. So I was like, why are you even mentioning the word uterus? He told me I have multiple fibroids. And because of experience, I asked him, how big is the biggest and how many? He told me he cannot count them because there are many. And they are very tiny, and the biggest is around 4 centimeters. Now, don't forget, this time I'm on my own. I don't have my husband. But I had to do this surgery anyway. So I went in, and after the surgery, after 2 days of recovering in the ward, the gynecologist came in again and told me, after questioning me, he asked me that if I knew I did not have my right ovary and fallopian tube. And I told him I did not know. So he told me, the one who operated on me during the first surgery, removed everything, the right ovary and fallopian tube, and they did not tell me. So this time, they removed a cyst that was growing on my left ovary that was big, but they did not touch the fibroids because there are many. And I asked the doctor, why did you not remove the fibroids? He told me there are so many and you would not make it because, number one, you have no enough blood to perform that procedure. So, and you are very weak, you need to go home and come back after 6 months when you are very strong so that we can remove your uterus. Being a girl that knows how to go on my knees and call God, I did not take that thought inside my head. I started declaring, I will conceive. That uterus will not be removed in Jesus' name. I visited every big pastor you know around Kenya. I went for prayers. I would read my Bible like a disciplined person. I did everything possible to please God that my uterus, a uterus is a woman. How would you even want yours removed? Unfortunately, the pain came, it was increasing day by day. Now at this time, you see, now my family, they have started realizing Irene has a serious problem. And a few people here and here already know Irene has gone around 2 surgeries for now. And people know I don't have my husband. So I needed help. But God had given me my job. So with the little I had, I would make use of it and still squeeze in some budget for my medical upkeep. So one morning the pain now was too much. Personally, I took myself to the hospital and I told the doctor, I am ready. Please do whatever you want. When I came to this, when I decided now to go to the hospital, things had become very bad in my life. I would struggle to even walk. You are walking, but you are down. You feel there's something that is wrong with you. You are still mourning your first marriage. Men want you. You can, sometimes the devil can bring the best. A good, nice gentleman comes and they tell you, Irene, I want to marry you. But when you look at them, you even, you just don't want to imagine how they would feel if you told them, I can't. So I would let that go. I would swallow that pain of how can I be someone's girlfriend? Yet it's me that is going to be hurt at the end of the day since my husband left. I went to theater. This time I was admitted for 1 week. No, this was now the worst of my lifetime story. All those things with the fertility pills and everything. Now this is the worst part of my infertility journey. After 1 week of being sustained in the ward, I was still very much alone. And this is the part that makes me very emotional because I was alone. Being alone when you're suffering is bad. It's very bad. Now, this day came and I was taken to theater around 12 noon. This was now last year. So when I went in theater, before I went, there were around 6 CSs, pregnant women, who were conceiving. And the ward that I was in, that is the same place that these women would come with their babies. So imagine you are there with your green gown, looking so lost. You see a lady, talk at theater, she comes out with a baby crying and the nurse holding the baby for her. And then you are told, now you are next. And when you imagine you are next for what? You are going to leave your babies there, in quotes. But these people are coming out with their children. I asked God, what did I do to deserve such kind of a very ruthless punishment? And the way I'm a nice person, I read my Bible, I go to church, I do everything. So with the help of at least 2 friends from church, pastors, they prayed for me and I asked them to ask God, I still want to live. If I go, I want to come out because I had been told I don't have enough blood. This created a lot of panic in my home, and my family members were not convinced that it was necessary. For me, when I went in theater, I knew I would come out, but with everything intact. I knew I had prayed to God, and they would just remove the fibroids, and I would come out with my uterus intact. So after I went to theater, I came out. And this time, unlike other surgeries, this day it was so painful. So all I could do was cry, shout. I don't know, it was the pain of losing the organ that came with all those misfortunes. And I had a friend of mine. Everybody knows that story so far. And this guy was the one who was holding me in that bed, trying to put me in the center of the bed. And then I was bleeding, my gown was full of blood. So when I would open my eyes and see the blood, I would immediately close my eyes. And then now, because you see now I'm alone, I don't have any family member. The nurses were so ruthless. They would come and overturn me, and actually one of them would tell me to shut up. They are tired. I need to keep quiet. I need to stop drama, but they did not know I was in pain. That is how I lost my uterus. But after the severe pain in the evening, you see, I don't know yet if they removed the uterus. In the evening, when one nurse came in, I had her ask one of the people from church who were there, who is her family member. You see, I can hear, but I cannot open my eyes. And one of them told them, it's okay, you can talk to us. Okay, hii ndio uterus yake. And now I'm sleeping and I'm like, uterus. Yeah, ndio hii, kujeni muone. Hizi ndizo fibroids, hii ni cervix. Yani nikaanza kusikia words nilikuwa nameshoniwa when I was in school doing biology. Now I'm hearing the same words being described about practical. This is now the practical part of it. I immediately closed my ears. I did not want to hear anymore. Now the following day, I try opening my locker in the hospital to get my handbag and maybe pick something. That is when I looked at something that was in a plate there. Something very big. It looks like a liver. And my heart stopped. I did not need anyone to tell me what it was. It was my uterus. Oh my God. I took it. I took it and I held that plate like this. And then I asked God, you created me. You took my ovary because you had the power to stop that from happening. Yani, why did it even to be in bits? This time I go, I lose my ovary, my fallopian tube, and now it is my uterus. I am holding my own organ, the organ that would define me, my whole generation, my everything. I'm holding it like this. I could not even understand because I had the word cervix. Now I'm trying to see which one is the cervix. So a uterus looks like this. Oh my God. And the way it was even tied with some threads. It was not human. It was bad. It was something that is still here that belonged to me, my body. Now, this is the most painful part. After 2 to 3 days of telling these nurses to remove that uterus from my locker, they did not remove it. So every time I would smell it, it started smelling because it started going bad and it even turned blackish. So every time I would stay in that ward and then I open my locker and I look at it. I cry my heart. The only thing I could do is cry at this time, just cry. Then I'm very alone. I had nothing. I went through something as if I'm a bad person, as if I'm a murderer. Yet I belong to God and I still love God. Someone told me God was using me as a sacrifice so that one day people can know there is a God in heaven. That uterus was removed from that place after 3 days. And the person who removed it is those boys that clean the wards. I had to beg one and tell him, please, chukua hii kitu uende utupe, juu sioni kama kuna nasa atakuja kuchukua, munaekanga wapi? So the boy just opens it like this, anaangalia, akachukua, akarusha kwa dustbin hivyo. Na hivyo ndivyo ilitoka hapo kwa hiyo room. That is something that went into my psychology for a very long time. Now, I suffered in that ward. Okay, it was a bad experience. After everything, I was discharged. People prayed for me. Of course, I have people who stood by me. I have wonderful people who stood by me, even though I was so alone and very alone. So now, that is when I now looked for presenter early, and I did my first interview because I needed help to complete that hospital bill. I thank everyone who came through from Presenter Early Channel. A lot of people called me, and the best part is I gave birth. Yeah, I know I'm sounding crazy, but I feel I gave birth to a baby whose mother wanted to abort after 6 months of pregnancy. This lady did not want to have that baby because the boyfriend had left her. And when she went to have that abortion done that morning, it's a testimony I always mention. The doctor got a phone call and walked out. Now this lady decided to go through her YouTube, her phone, just to look. And then she comes in contact with the word uterus. And then she sees my story, na anasikiza. By the time she could finish that story, the doctor did not find her in that room. She left and called me and told me, Irene, help me beg God for forgiveness. I did not know that a woman somewhere would struggle to have a baby, yet I want to remove mine. Yet I've been blessed. I will give birth to this baby and I will call it Irene. And I saved that baby. If I had not done my story, that lady would have removed that pregnancy and that baby would not have been born. So I feel like I gave birth to that child. And I know a lot of women who wanted to abort stopped. That is when I went through Presenter Alice channel, and at least I got, let me say, a third of what I was hoping to complete my debts and my bills. I was very grateful. People came through, the phone calls, the prayers. Women would call and literally cry and tell me, Irene, poorly. People helped where they could. During this YouTube channel interviews that I've done several so far, I was mentioning that I had another problem that was left, and this time it was my remaining ovary had 3 developing cysts, which were very small at that time, and the doctor told me I don't want to remove them because the way they are, it's like it will be I will be forced to remove the ovary. But when I remove it, you will go into complete menopause. You see, you already have lost a lot of hormones. Now, if I remove this ovary, it is the only thing that makes you feel, now, it has an hormone that makes you feel like a woman. Now, if we remove, that is where I pity you. Just go home and let's hope a miracle will happen and these cysts maybe disappear or shrink. From last year, from the time I went on Presenter Alice channel and other channels, that has been my journey. The cysts developed. I was always on painkillers and everything. And now, unfortunately, 2 weeks before Christmas, I lost my job because I was also not performing. I would be off today, tomorrow I'm at work. I'm not producing results because I am sick. So I managed to finally have that surgery inaitwa cystectomy. And right now, as I speak, I feel like an empty vessel, like I'm tungi without water, because everything that comes with a woman, I don't have it. I don't have an ovary. I don't have a tube. I don't have a uterus, and I'm here. People see me, tell me I look beautiful. But if you can get inside my heart, it's broken into very small, tiny pieces. I am heartbroken. I am in pain. I am in bitterness. Sometimes I curse myself. Sometimes I wonder, when I was being born by my mother, maybe did she commit any sin that day? Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, Irene, you are very beautiful. You are going to be married and you will have your children. But sometimes reality hits so bad and my heart starts skipping very fast and I'm like, so I will die without seeing another version of me, a baby that looks like me. After I shared my story, we have very insensitive people. I have a number of people that I trusted that came through to challenge me and scold me and told me that was cheap of me to go out there and talk about my life. I was gaining sympathy. If all this was for sympathy or help or money, I would have started speaking 10 years ago when I was married, because I would have gained something. There was hope then. Right now, okay, aside from God, I know there's God in heaven. Right now, in a layman's language, I have no hope. I have nothing that I can be a woman with. I don't have it. Why would I use that opportunity now to ask for help? Yet I know nothing will happen. There are people who challenged me and they know themselves. I have still been isolated by people that I loved and they know themselves. Now, this is the thing that I did not know, that being a woman, especially an African woman, a woman is associated with children. And if you don't have children as a woman, there will always be another seat for you preserved somewhere. I don't attend any family gatherings, number one. I don't even get close to a group of people that like are from 5 and above. No, why? Even when you walk, this is the experience that I've gotten since. Even when I walk, I feel like everybody knows that girl does not have a uterus and ovaries and everything. You feel like everybody is looking at you. They can see everything. When I walk and I meet a pregnant woman, I divert and I go. If a pregnant woman comes inside a matatu that I'm traveling in, I walk out. Even if that matatu was almost going, I just get out because I feel I can't stomach it. It's too much for me to bear. When I hear babies cry, I feel like I want to run and rescue them. Up to date, I dream that I'm rescuing children who are crying and crying. If I hear a neighbor's child crying, I feel like going to knock at that door and tell them, bring the baby, let me see. When I hang my clothes and I meet children's babies' clothes hanged, I stay there for like an hour just admiring those clothes. Yes, yet I'm doing my own. Now, losing the ovary that I had is not even painful. I think the pain has already dissolved inside me. Now, this is the challenge that comes with infertility. You're handling yourself as a human being with the medication and everything. There are people who have literally blocked me because I've nagged them. You call this person, you tell them, please help me. I know I have your money, but you have to help me because you have no one else who can. I survive by praying to God and telling God, please do something for me. Give me a job. I'm a very hardworking lady. I have a certificate, a diploma in flight operations and dispatch. The devil blocked that by giving me these other things. People have told me to go to church. I have gone. I even have the kitampa from New Life TV. I have tried everything. But still there is a challenge. The other day I was thinking and I asked myself, what can happen for me to be okay? If it is a husband or a boyfriend, believe me, they are in my DMs. They nag me. Men come and tell me, Irene, I am separated with my wife. I just want you, not the babies. For me, that sounds like an insult to me. It does not make me feel very happy that I'll come and play your wife without kids. For me, that sounds like an insult. In other words, I need time to mourn what I've gone through. Yes, I will dust it off one day, but don't push me to be too quick. Let me go with my pace. Slowly by slowly, I will overcome. And one way of overcoming is, like for example, sharing my story. When I lost my uterus last year, I told God I will speak to the whole world about my procedure and my experience, and all this will be for your glory. And I challenged God and told him, I will go and tell people I don't have what I can have as a woman. Believe me, it comes with shame, rejection, isolation, and many other things. But I withstand all that. Why? I'm focusing and trying God because he said, try me. What if I come back here pregnant and I tell you this is the same girl who was begging for assistance without a uterus. Now I'm having my own children. That is the God that I serve. I am not mad at God. Before I was, to be honest, but I've learned to make peace with God. He is teaching me something every day. Every time a woman calls me crying, telling me, Irene, I have fibroids. I ask that lady, you're crying because you have fibroids. Me, I don't have a uterus. I don't have ovaries. Who, between me and you, who has hope? So I encourage a lot of women. And when I do that, I feel so good. I feel like, oh my, I have just encouraged someone, which means I am important. I'm a normal human being. If someone can call me for me to encourage them, those that call me, you don't know how you do. You raise my self-esteem. I feel good to have friends. Yani for someone to say hi, that two-letter word, hi, oh, I appreciate so much. Losing what I have lost, and it is not me alone. I have so many women who came through and told me I am literally like you. But you see, for me, I came out. Some would not want, no, some other people, even their families, have no idea of what they have faced. When I get so emotional and I look at my uterus, I have photos. I get the relief and I calm myself very much, and it gives me the strength to push and live. Before I was suicidal, before I even went for counseling, I would wake up and then I think, I don't have my rent and I don't have medicine. I need to eat. I need to be a person and I have nothing. So the best solution is to die. So I would literally look at the ceiling and look at where I can maybe hang myself. But God would immediately intervene. Today I'm not suicidal, and that's why I'm here. If you are suffering, talk. You don't know who is your helper. I've gone to all those YouTube channels, and yeah, I think the biggest is from Tuko. And I'm here again in your channel. But this time, to thank God, because He saw me through the last procedure that I had. But I'm not ashamed to ask for help again, because this is something that has happened and I have no control of it. If I was fine, I would be somewhere. I can work. I can do anything, but I need help. There are people who need help. And because you don't want to talk, you are so proud and you don't want to feel the shame of asking. Those are the people that go into depression, and the next thing you hear, that person has died. For me, I refuse to die. I refuse to suffer. As long as I can see a human being walking, I would talk. I will talk until I find my destiny helper. And I will not give the devil that space and opportunity to. You see, the devil came to kill, destroy everything. He might have stolen what I have, he might have killed me, but he will not destroy me. I'm here to talk, but most importantly to a woman somewhere, probably even crying right now because you feel that you have not conceived. It's 2 years. Take my story and encourage yourself through my story. Every woman that calls me nowadays crying, I tell them, now forget about your story. Watch mine and feel encouraged. Leave that burden to me. Assume you've dropped it at God's feet and ask yourself, if I really lost her uterus and for me I still have it, which means there is a chance I can still pray to God and heal me. Let me tell you something else that I had not known. Before, there are women who have money and they go for IVFs. IVF costs around 500K plus. It depends. Women fly outside this country, they go to Russia, they go and try to have IVF. I know of one who has tried 3 times. It has failed. Do you know why it's failing? Because you're not putting God first. It's because you have money. That's why you feel you have an option. Even as for me, when I was married, I had money. I felt I will do this. So I was not involving God too much. But when everything came to be worse and my husband left, now I was literally left with this God and I had no option but just to trust God. If you have money, assume you have nothing. Assume you are poor. What would you do? How about that poor person who is somewhere at Ushago with no money? She is literally trusting in God. So I would advise someone who wants to get pregnant, and I know you can have all the opportunities to have money. how about you try and see if God can work? Just like you go and try IVF, try God too. I have a lot of friends even from outside Kenya that have called me, very nice people that have encouraged me. And I have one particular, I think one or two. Thank you, sir. I will not mention their names. But this person has tirelessly been helping me. I have exhausted that person. If you see my WhatsApp, if you go on and look at my chat, it's full of, will you send me? Can you help me with this amount? Will you help me with this? This is a human being, and human being can be tired. After this, the last surgery that I had, I need now to complete that procedure by clearing every bill that I had. I need now to start living. I feel like I've done a race that was around 20 kilometers and I'm done. Now I need to stand and pick myself from ground and start figuring out what next. And with God, if you help me pick up myself, I will make it. I will move. I will focus. The problem is when you try to focus and move on, you remember the problem you have. They kind of pull you back. So despite every challenging word that I get from a part of people have different ways of understanding, and it is all right. I'm here again, accepting shame, but to talk my situation out and find that help that I need. I am not ashamed to say that I need help. And yes, I have gone through so many YouTube channels and I have asked for help. And I thank God for whatever I have received so far and for the prayers. But here again is the final procedure, but things are the same. I need a helping hand and someone to come, and I need someone to hold me. Like someone holds your hand and helps you cross the road. I need someone to help me cross this road and tell me, now come on this side. I can't do it on my own. I need help. However, how shameful that is, I need help. And it's not begging. You can call it whatever you want, but it's because I trust God. And God works with crazy faith. If you move, God will move. You cannot ask God for food and you sit. He will not bring it. And I also would like to work. Anyone with a job opportunity for me, if I started working this time, I think I'll be okay. Yes, I don't have my reproductive system, but things are better. Being in pain is very distracting. You cannot do anything. But right now, I feel so fine. And I thought I will never turn down any YouTuber who will want to share my story, because I think that message will be for someone somewhere. I do it for God's glory, not even for my name. I'm a servant of God. In fact, I made myself an evangelist. I will serve God for the rest of my life. I will testify about this issue for the rest of I will talk everywhere. I will not stop. Those that are waiting for me to stop, I will even come back here again and tell you, Samaritan, see what God has done. See how people have helped me. So right now, feel appreciated, whoever came through for me, and whoever can help me, please. It's very hard to ask for help. Believe me, to open your mouth and borrow money from someone, it is so challenging. But if you see someone do so, they have done their all. Mine was sickness. Nobody applies for sickness. And it was a very sensitive issue. And I made it through alone. I had no physical, emotional help. But I made it, and I'm here to glorify God and ask that God intervenes through the Holy Spirit, and my destiny helper locates me. Yeah.
Irene, I'll ask you another question. Maybe there are people who are asking, um, have you tried going to Lynn Goge's YouTube channel?
This is something else that I've experienced. A lot of people, a lot of women call me, and before they even tell me, Polly, Irene, they are like, Irene, why have you not gone to so and so's channel? I think you should go there. If you go, you think I have not tried. Surely, someone who is suffering, they try their best. I have tried. If you see me here, it's because this is where my cry has landed me at the moment. I'm here. And I know God works in so many ways. Maybe through your channel, I'll get that help, and I'm helping someone who I don't know. So I have tried so far. I have tried everything that can be called help, including all those people that call me and tell me to go to New Life TV. I have done it. I have not gone physically, but here I have everything, even the living water. I trust God. I look for, even if someone who really wants something, if you tell them, if you eat this soil, you'll be fine, they will eat it. So I've tried everything I could.
Guys, you've heard the story from Irene Wambua, and it's a very touching story of how she lost her uterus. And guys, you're used to be having so many guests coming here and asking for help. Yesterday we helped this lady by the name Helen, and we appreciate your support. You contributed, and we are able to raise at least her school fees, and we are only a few steps towards getting enough money to take her to school. So guys, you've heard her story, and if you'd like to reach her and maybe encourage her or contribute to her, we don't know how much maybe you'd like to get for you to complete your hospital bill. Maybe
Currently, I'm standing at around 90,000. I cleared part of it by borrowing. I've taken several loans and tried to ask help from several people who I need also to pay them back. Yeah.
so. 90,000 is not a lot of money for Easterntv official channel and also Easterntv English. So guys, you can reach her through your number, please.
Yeah, my phone number is 0724 801 187.
It will bring which name maybe when they send you money?
Name is Irene Wambua.
Wambua. Thank you guys for always tuning in and also sending your support to every time we bring a guest here. I don't have much to say. You've heard her story. Guys, let's do this thing. Let's support her. The numbers are running on the screens. If you have a story that you'd like to tell us, the number is 0728 988 278. Don't forget, every day from 9, we have our stories, and also we normally bring something here on Easterntv, may it being a story, also loyalty test. So guys, until next time. Also at 12, we have Ken Kimani's, who normally does what you call the gold digger pranks. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also support us. Just support us by liking this video. Until next time, I was your host, Director Samaritan 254. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Love that you show me, yes, that I cannot take it for granted. Love that you show me.